connecting neighborhoods across the Treasure and Magic Valleys, telling stories from within our communities. This is Good Morning Idaho.
Good morning, and happy Thursday to everyone. I'm Isaiah Sharp, filling in for the great Roland Barris. And this morning, as always, our team of neighborhood reporters are bringing you stories from across the state of Idaho. More local stories than any other across southern Idaho, like our Brady Caskey, who brings us details on the arrest of 2 Ontario high school students who allegedly brought guns to school, and the tip that led to their arrest. Plus, a story new this morning from our Sahana Patel breaks down the numbers for homeowners looking to convert to solar and whether or not it makes financial sense, even with a 30% federal tax credit. We'll get to those stories in just a moment, but first, let's check in on the forecast with our Sophia Cruz. Thursday's looking fairly nice, is it, Sophia?
Yeah, and we're really happy to have you this morning, Isaiah. I know normally you're in my role, but we get to have you this morning too. So what a good start to the day. I hope you're having a good morning as well as we move through it together. It's going to be similar to yesterday. By 10 a.m., upper 60s into 2 o'clock, lower 80s. And then as you get ready for your evening, not very much change again. We've got 80s all the way through 7 o'clock, so maybe happy hour runs a little later. You head out on the town tonight, 9 and 10 o'clock, you've got lower 70s. So nice day in store for us as we move into our weekend. The weather's just going to be picture perfect. Isaiah?
I'm excited for it. Thanks so much, Sophia. We turn now to an update from the courtroom in the case against Delbert Cornish, the Caldwell man who court documents say confessed to murdering his adopted daughter. Our Victoria Rodriguez has the latest.
The Caldwell father accused of killing his adoptive daughter was back in a Canyon County courtroom today. I'm your neighborhood reporter, Victoria Rodriguez, and I was inside as Delbert Cornish faced additional charges of intent to commit murder and animal cruelty. As we've previously reported, Cornish is accused of killing his 18-year-old adoptive daughter, Onyx, back in August. Court documents show that just after her death, Cornish also allegedly shot and killed her cat. According to the PCA, Delbert decided to shoot her cat as well. Delbert advised he shot the cat in the head and did so for the same reasons, because no one would take care of it after they were all dead. He's now charged with 4 crimes: first-degree murder, possession of a deadly weapon, assault with intent to commit murder, and animal cruelty, which in Idaho is only a misdemeanor for a first conviction. According to the Animal Legal Defense Fund, Idaho ranks 48th in the nation for animal protection laws. The report notes that in some cases, even severe cruelty, like torturing pets, is still classified as a misdemeanor. Meanwhile, a vigil for Onyx Cornish is being planned for this Sunday at Julia Davis Park in Boise at 4 p.m., where community members plan to gather to honor her memory. Cornish's next court appearance is set for October 14th. Reporting from the Canyon County Courthouse, I'm your neighborhood reporter, Victoria Rodriguez for Idaho News 6.
Kimmel Live has been pulled off the air by ABC after Kimmel made controversial remarks about conservative activist Charlie Kirk's death.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
Critics say Kimmel crossed the line, while others call it a dangerous blow to free speech. The suspension has sparked backlash from free speech advocates who warn political pressure is silencing dissenting voices. The move also comes as late-night TV faces growing turbulence. Stephen Colbert's show was also recently canceled in what CBS insiders say was a financial decision. But critics are pointing to political motivation for these decisions. No word yet on when or if Jimmy Kimmel's show will return. It will now be slightly cheaper to borrow money. The Federal Reserve announcing it will cut interest rates by 0.25 percentage point, bringing lending rates to between 4 and 4.25%. It's the first cut in 9 months, and it means interest rates for credit card debt, car loans, and mortgage rates will likely fall as well. Experts saying it's good news for the housing market.
2 16-year-old boys are now in custody after police say they brought guns to Ontario High School Wednesday morning. I'm your neighborhood reporter Brady Caskey, learning more about the incident.
We received a tip from an anonymous person to say that there may be a student coming to school with a weapon.
Ontario School District Superintendent Nicole Albisu tells me an early morning tip prepped them to find that student.
Once the student got to school, met them at the door, conducted a search, found the weapon.
She says after their initial search, they discovered another student had also brought a weapon to school.
It was an unloaded firearm.
For both of them?
Yes.
2 discovered handguns led to both students being arrested.
Having a weapon at school is a very serious thing, and especially if it's a firearm, and there's just no tolerance for that. So that's an immediate expulsion hearing at the very least.
The district says they are confident this incident was not meant to be a school shooting. The school maintained a normal schedule and did not go on lockdown.
It wasn't necessary because my initial assessment was that there was no immediate threat to staff and students.
Mike Padilla is the safety supervisor for the district and says if there was a real threat, students, staff, and parents would know about it.
We've got a pretty good plan in place in order to try to prevent the boogeyman from coming into our schools. So we're doing some really good things.
Wednesday's incident was addressed early and safely, all because of a tip.
We are always on alert. We just can't afford not to be. If you see something, if you hear something, even if you're not sure if it's true, report that.
Ontario police and the school district are still investigating the incident, but they emphasize there were no threats to students, staff, or the school. Reporting in Ontario, I'm Brady Caskey for Idaho News 6.
The city of Boise is looking for a new fire chief, and they've narrowed it down to 4 finalists. You can meet them at an open house today. 3 of the men are internal candidates. The 4th comes from Houston. Today's open house is a chance for the public to get to know the candidates and ask them some questions. It will run from 5 to 6 p.m. at City Hall West. That's the facility on Markstall Place over by the Town Square Mall. Boise's current fire chief, Mark Niemeyer, is set to retire in November.
The city of Boise has big plans when it comes to green energy, but those goals can be costly for homeowners, even with the federal tax credit that's soon to expire. In downtown, I'm your neighborhood reporter Sahana Patel, breaking down if the shift to solar is right for you.
Installing solar shingles can nearly eliminate the need to pay monthly for electricity, but it's a costly investment up front.
Anywhere from probably $80,000 to $120,000, depending on how big you want to build your system. You can be as small as, say, $30,000 for a 3-kilowatt roof.
That's where a 30% federal tax credit comes in.
So it's literally 30% off the total project. So if you're looking to do solar energy, backup batteries, car chargers.
According to the IRS, a wide range of clean energy upgrades qualify for that 30% break.
But it does end this year as of now.
But according to Idaho Power, an average home, which uses around 1,000 kilowatt hours, will only amount to a $2,560 savings over 20 years. And if your home uses less than that, it could even be a loss. Aside from the minimal savings, another concern is reduced efficiency in winter and nighttime.
So we're anxious to see how it's going to work this winter as well.
And if you don't have a backup generator, you'll likely still have to rely on another source.
You just take power from Idaho Power when you need it, and when you make too much power, you're giving it back to them. So there's ways to be able to have that done.
But the city of Boise, who plan to run on 100% clean electricity by 2035 and carbon neutral by 2050, say that this shift to solar has been positive.
Where we have solar installs, they're performing really well. So we're seeing good return on investment.
To learn more about what qualifies for the clean energy credit and how you can qualify, you can use the link on this story on idahonews6.com. In downtown Boise, I'm your neighborhood reporter Sahana Patel for Idaho News 6.
When we get back, we hear from an American war doctor on the front lines of Gaza as he says conditions there are the worst things he's ever seen and predicts things to get much worse.
Hey, East End, Boise, you're our neighborhood of the day, where this afternoon you'll be touching into the upper 80s, nice, warm, and sunny. Here's a look also from our photog, Lindsay. She's the one in the back behind me. It's from our Love Your Neighborhood, which will be coming up at 6:45. Check out the place we were at.
Look now at national headlines. Today, a CDC panel will meet to discuss vaccines currently recommended for children, including those for measles, mumps, rubella, chickenpox, and hepatitis B. The meeting will include 12 new members to the vaccine committee after Health and Human Services Secretary RFK Jr. ousted 17 members, and many of the new members have questioned vaccine safety or spread misinformation about vaccines. FBI Director Kash Patel in the hot seat for the second day in a row, clashing with House Democrats laser focused on his handling of the Epstein files. Patel testifying that he's never spoken to President Trump about the files and was repeatedly evasive when pressed about them. When Patel said that he's released everything that the courts have allowed him to, California Representative Ted Lieu pushed back, telling Patel that the FBI can and will subpoena information from the Epstein estate. The House has given lawmakers more money for personal security in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination. It's an extension of a pilot program that started in July after 2 Minnesota state lawmakers were shot in June. It gave members $20,000 a month for home security and $5,000 for personal security. The extension doubles the amount for personal security to $10,000 a month, but it expires on November 21st. Turning now to the war in Gaza, where tens of thousands have died and others are trying to survive, living in tents and dodging bombs. One American doctor, who's no stranger to war zone, claims this is on a whole new scale. ABC's Perry Russman has the details.
An American doctor is giving us an inside look at the crisis in Gaza right now.
I would predict that things are going to get much, much worse here.
Dr. Michael Falk, a New York trauma specialist with the charity Med Global, is working at a hospital in southern Gaza. He says Israel's ground offensive in Gaza City, launched this week to target Hamas militants, has already led to 2 mass casualty incidents at his hospital. Falk describes the so-called green zones in Gaza, which are supposed to be safe for civilians, as anything but.
One of my residents who I worked with yesterday went home last night, and his wife's family, aside from his father-in-law, were all killed in the tent beside them. And that's technically in a safe zone.
An estimated 400,000 people have fled Gaza City in recent days. The Israeli military saying it destroyed 25 high-rise buildings in one day, calling them terror towers used by Hamas. Falk has worked in war zones in Iraq and Ukraine. He says Gaza right now is worse than anything he's seen.
As soon as the winter starts to set in and the water starts running freely, you're going to see a lot more communicable diseases. If the wintertime comes in, you'll see more respiratory illnesses. And the situation is just going to get worse and worse because people are chronically malnourished.
Any ceasefire deal in exchange for the hostages still being held by Hamas seems out of reach. Adid Hoyle's son is among the hostages believed to be held somewhere in Gaza City. She worries Israel's new ground operation is putting his life in more danger.
That means that he's in more danger than he was maybe before. Save my son and the war and bring along home.
Dr. Falk says the hospital he's working at is meant to hold 300 patients, but now has more than 1,000. Perry Russell, ABC News, New York.
Along Interstate 84, the Highway 16 interchange is taking shape at the border of Meridian and Nampa. I have the construction's latest details.
Sophia Cruz with the Idaho News 6 forecast.
All right, 6:17 is your time, and thanks for starting your Thursday morning with us. Or it's even Friday Junior, whichever you'd like to call it. Just means that tomorrow our weekend gets started, and it looks really good so far. Here's what's happening. We have the southwesterly flow from this ridge that just kind of looks like this upside down U. That's going to bring in that area of high pressure, which in turn warms up our temperatures. But what you'll also notice is that it's also bringing in a few straying clouds. So as we head into our day, not only is it going to be hot, just really down to our south. Take a look at Phoenix this afternoon, 97, Las Vegas 90, even 90 in Sacramento. Now for us, it's not going to be that hot, but there isn't very many places across the U.S. right now where it actually feels like fall. Notice that high temperatures, even across your East Coast, upper 80s as you make your way along the coastline. Down south, still pretty hot here too, 91 in Houston and 95 in Dallas. Closer to home this afternoon, we'll be touching into the mid-80s, so it is going to feel similar to yesterday, just about a degree warmer. And if you're in our mountains, you've got those nice and more comfortable upper 70s. Now, the weekend overall still looks really nice and comfortable for us, but we will be tracking some rain chances Saturday and Sunday. That's from all that moisture that we're seeing come up from that southwesterly flow, but also what you'll notice is that it's very slight and isolated down to our south. Move the page over to Sunday. You see the story change just a bit, and it starts to grow over our east and west central mountains. Rain chances just sit about 20 to 10%, so still very minimal. And the biggest reason we're seeing this is because of Tropical Storm Mario that is now dissipating, and as it does, and as it starts to run into this drier air just as it heads into California, not only just dry, but also strong winds here, which is those winds that change aloft. That'll really disorganize the system, which it's actually doing right now. But what it also does is bring in some heavier rain from Los Angeles down to Bakersfield, even into San Diego today. While we have and will see some rain this weekend, and not very much at that, but still there, we will mostly just see clouds from the system coming in. So moving up towards our weekend, this is by Saturday around 5 o'clock, showers spreading in from eastern Oregon down all the way into our even eastern Idaho, you'll look. But notice that a lot of it again focused towards our southern areas. Not very much change happens on this map, so if we do see any showers, maybe they're quick and fleeting into 5 o'clock, and then after that it's pretty quiet. So you'll notice into Sunday you still do see some lingering rain, but it's going to be mostly a dry weekend for many of us. So if you have any outdoor plans, you should be okay. Move the page over to Monday, because this is where things start to change, and you'll notice things actually heat up. We start to see this trough move through, so this strong front comes in. That's what's going to cool us down into our Sunday, but right behind that and what builds in is this upper level ridge. So this is again going to bring in that heat and bring up our temperatures as we head into Tuesday. So when you take a look at our extended forecast, which I'll pull up in just a second, you're going to notice Tuesday is actually going to be pretty warm in comparison to all the other days next week. On top of that, our temperature outlook shows us that from September 24th through the 28th, the entirety of the U.S. hotter than normal. So just a heads up, there are going to be a little bit of bumpy rides into next week, especially with our temperatures, but it's still going to be a good week ahead. Now you've got upper 70s, upper mid 60s by Sunday. Next week we see those mid 70s return into Tuesday, and that's when we start to see that peak heating. But otherwise, still nice weekends ahead. You've got 79 into your Sunday, 85 by Tuesday afternoon. We don't return near normal until about Thursday with lower 80s expected. Still lots of sunshine out there though, so make sure you're taking advantage of it by spending some time outdoors.
The Highway 16 interchange continues to take shape as flyover lanes are being built over I-84. I'm neighborhood reporter Ali Tripke with the latest from ITD on their biggest road project in the valley.
The Idaho Transportation Department is making steady progress on Idaho's first ever 3-level interchange on the border of Ada and Canyon counties. Drivers who pass by here regularly have watched the progress since the project started in 2022.
Right now, they've placed one pier cap, and that's where the bridge will sit on. It'll be a steel structure. They're in the process of forming and placing the next pier cap. The others that you see will also have pier caps that will be placed on top of them that will support the steel flyover bridges.
Those steel bridges will be installed this winter into the spring, meaning drivers should expect some temporary overnight closures on I-84 during construction.
State Highway 16 will provide a vital north-south route in the Treasure Valley. It'll be a controlled access highway. It'll take people from I-84 all the way up to State Highway 44.
As Idaho News 6 has reported, the flyover lanes are a crucial part of the Greater Highway 16 corridor project that's been years in the making. ITD tells me that the concrete beams that support the flyover lanes and bridges are drilled as deep as 150 feet into the ground.
The one that you're standing on is about 125 feet deep. The drilled shafts out there are actually about 85 feet deep, and they're 9 foot in diameter.
I asked if the overpass or if any of the on or off ramps within the interchange would open before the rest of the project, but ITD says the project will actually finish sooner if all roads open at the same time.
And if all goes to plan, ITD will open these roads to the public in 2027. I'm neighborhood reporter Ali Tripke for Idaho News 6.
An Idaho snack company calls Caldwell home. I'm taking you inside the brand new headquarters for Real Potato Chips Idaho. From potato to chip, A popular Idaho snack company is now cooking up something savory right here in Caldwell. I'm our Caldwell neighborhood reporter Leslie Solis getting a tour of the brand new Teton Valley Brands manufacturing headquarters, where 20 local employees are processing these Idaho potato chips before they make their way to your store shelves.
It's taken us 8 years to get here.
Founder Kyle Naring's dream started in his basement making potato chips with his wife and brother. They grew from a small Napa location to a new 14,000 square foot facility in Caldwell. Why Caldwell?
Yeah, we love Treasure Valley in general, and so we knew it was going to be in the Treasure Valley. Looking at real estate, looking at people, and trying really to find the right kind of salt of the earth type of people to help make potato chips. Caldwell is just a very natural fit. We love the community.
Mr. Nearing tells me their work is just getting started with future plans of new flavors. I'm your Caldwell neighborhood reporter Leslie Solis for Idaho News 6.
Thanks for joining us this morning on Good Morning Idaho. We have much more in store. Here's a look at what's still to come from your neighborhood reporters.
Governor Brad Little signed HB 93 into law earlier this year. Will it remain the law of the land? The state Supreme Court looks like they'll decide.
A new tort claim against the Boise School District raises questions over alleged violations of Idaho's bathroom law.
Now we'll look outside from the Treasure Valley Chevy Dealers Tower Cam.
Connecting neighborhoods across the Treasure and Magic Valleys, telling stories from within our communities. This is Good Morning Idaho.
Welcome back to Good Morning Idaho. I'm Isaiah Sharp, filling in for the wonderful Roland Barris. Good Morning Idaho still has much more in store this morning from our large team of neighborhood reporters like our Don Nelson, hearing from a pro-public school organization that's taking on Idaho's parental choice tax credit in court, calling it a voucher subsidy and damaging to public education. Plus, our Riley Shoemaker digs deeper into the tort claim filed by a Boise School District student that alleges the district violated Idaho's bathroom law by allowing a biological male to use the girls' bathroom. Details on all of that coming up, but first we start with Sophia Cruz. Thursday looking fairly nice. I'm excited for the weekend. What's in store today at least?
Nice warm day, Isaiah. That's what we've been saying for the past couple days now, and that's going to continue to be the pattern as we even head into next week. So for the kiddos heading into the bus stop, you may grab the light jacket this morning. We'll be sitting in the lower 60s, slightly cloudy by the time we head into the afternoon, mid 80s. So maybe you're coming home from school a little bit earlier than you anticipated. Spend some time outside. It's going to be nice, sunny, and warm. And this is just a really good reflection of what our weekend will look like, Isaiah.
I'm excited for it. Great conditions, and this fall is going to be beautiful. Idaho's parental choice tax credit will be challenged in the Idaho Supreme Court. A coalition of groups that are pro-public education calling the tax credit unconstitutional. Senior reporter Don Nelson has the latest.
The Idaho Constitution they crafted is crystal clear. The state must provide a uniform, thorough, and free system of public schools.
On what's known as Constitution Day, an alliance of pro-public education organizations say they're committed to defending Idahoans against unconstitutional overreach by the state of Idaho. House Bill 93, now a law, known as the Idaho Parental Choice Tax Credit. It establishes a refundable tax credit for parents of K-12 students to use for non-public school expenses, such as tuition and tutoring. The bill provides up to $5,000 per student or $7,500 for students with disabilities.
And interpreting these 14 words will be the task of our Supreme Court.
Daniel Mooney, president of the Committee to Protect and Preserve the Idaho Constitution, says it's simply government not listening to the will of the people and doing what they think is right for the people.
From our perspective, it couldn't be clearer. Politicians are very creative these days, but the Constitution, these 14 words, don't require any creativity to interpret.
The state is required to provide an option for them, and which we are.
One politician, House Majority Leader Jason Monks, who supports HB 93, is not surprised by Wednesday's announcement. I asked Monks about those 14 words. I don't see the word private in this statement out of the Idaho Constitution.
Absolutely. We do that. We provide it. You can go to any public school that you want to. Every kid can go to those. So we do provide that. Doesn't say we can't do anything else. It's a tax credit for parents who don't educate their kids within the current public school system.
We're learning new details this morning about an airman killed in a motorcycle crash over the weekend. The 366th Fighter Wing has identified Kyra Badrian from Maryland as the 25-year-old senior airman killed in that crash. The Fighter Wing says she was assigned to the Healthcare Operations Squadron. As we reported, Badrian died in a crash near Pine when she lost control in a curve while riding a motorcycle. The Fighter Wing says 2 other airmen attempted to save her, but she was later declared dead by emergency responders. Idaho State Police are investigating the crash. And 2 men were injured after a small plane crashed in Rigby on Wednesday morning. Rigby police say a 1966 Cessna had just taken off and was unable to gain enough altitude to clear nearby power lines. The plane was tangled in the lines and crashed half a mile from the airport. The men were treated by paramedics at the site of the crash. The FAA and NTSB are still investigating. It was another deadly summer on Idaho roadways. The stretch between Memorial Day and Labor Day is known as the 100 deadliest days because it accounts for an outsized number of deaths each year, despite the favorable driving conditions. And this year was no different. The Idaho Office of Highway Safety reporting 88 deaths in 100 days. That's preliminary data. Nearly 1/4 of those deaths were motorcyclists. The biggest contributing factors in those fatal crashes were people choosing not to wear their seatbelt, failure to maintain lanes, and speeding and driving drunk. And while the 100 deadliest days are over, drivers need to stay attentive on Idaho's roadways. Take a look at the left side of your screen. It's a scary close call in Ontario. Police working to find the driver who nearly hit these folks entering the crosswalk. You can hear the tires squeal as the car swerves and the pedestrians jumping out of the way. If you have any information, please call police.
Following new legal action against the Boise School District, one family says the district violated Idaho's school bathroom law. I'm downtown Boise neighborhood reporter Riley Shoemaker taking a closer look at the claim and what's at stake. The tort claim filed Monday alleges Boise High School staff failed to enforce Senate Bill 1100, signed into law in 2023, requiring students to use school bathrooms that align with their biological sex. Now the family taking legal action says their daughter twice encountered a biological male student who identifies as a transgender female in the girls' bathroom, and during one incident believes the student was inappropriately touching themselves in the adjacent stall. Her parents later pulled her out of Boise High.
We are intending to hold them accountable for the psychological and emotional harm they caused this teenage girl as a result of violating state law.
Blaine Consati is the president at the Idaho Family Policy Center that helped draft the original bill that was briefly blocked by a federal injunction, but that order was lifted earlier this year.
Even while the injunction was in effect, Boise School District still had a duty of care under the law to protect the privacy and safety of girls like the teenage girl that the legal center represents.
Consati says the district still had a duty to act. The Boise School District says it's not that simple and tells Idaho News 6 federal courts barred them from enforcing Senate Bill 1100 at the time. In a statement, the district says it is committed to the well-being of every student, but stressed that a tort claim is only an allegation. It does not establish liability. The district also confirmed the student was permitted to use the girls' restroom under a gender support plan that was previously put into place. When we asked about the case, the ACLU of Idaho called the bathroom law discriminatory and said this case, quote, involves minors where no one was harmed and no rights were violated. But the family argues their daughter suffered anxiety and emotional distress, now seeking $20,000 in damages. The Boise School District has 90 days to respond to the tort claim before a lawsuit can be filed. We'll continue following this case and what it could mean for students across Idaho. I'm downtown Boise neighborhood reporter Riley Shoemaker, Idaho News 6.
A groundbreaking today for some big upgrades to one of Boise's Ribbon of Jewels, the beautiful parks strung along the Boise River. Veterans Memorial Park is set to get more than $600,000 in improvements, including a new 18-hole disc golf course, a nature playground, and other infrastructure and security upgrades. That includes new cameras outside the bathroom and in the parking areas. The work is expected to last through the end of the year. Let's take a look now at what's happening today in your neighborhood. An open house today where you can meet candidates for Boise's new fire chief. They've narrowed it down to just 4 finalists. 3 of the men are internal candidates. The 4th comes from the city of Houston. Today's open house is a chance for the public to get to know the candidates and ask them some questions. It will run from 5 to 6 p.m. at City Hall West. That's the facility on Markstall Place over by the Boise Town Square Mall. And the State of Downtown Boise annual meeting set for this afternoon. It's a chance for Boiseans to gather and look at both the successes and challenges that the city saw last year and hear about anticipated changes in the coming year. This year has a special focus on Basque culture with a self-guided food tour on the Basque Block. That all runs from 3 to 5 this afternoon. Downtown Nampa celebrating the city's birthday at the 3rd Thursday Street Festival tonight from 6 to 9. This evening, you can find a wide variety of food truck vendors and a whole lot of fun for the family. Organizers say bring your friends, bring your family, of course, and appetites for a night full of flavor, fun, and community vibes. Coming up, we talk about the future of agriculture and the fight for it at the state and local level. Agriculture is the backbone of Idaho. On Wednesday, I spent time touring parts of the western Treasure Valley with county leaders who say that the fight for the future of agriculture at the state and local level needs to continue.
Anytime you eat, it's because of a farmer.
Without agriculture, my dad would always say we would be naked, afraid, and hungry.
The clothes we wear, the food we eat, and the products we use every day. Like the grapevines growing throughout Canyon County, Idaho's agricultural industry is intertwined in it all, which is why the Caldwell-Nampa Chamber Agribusiness Committee is educating Idahoans about its importance.
Agriculture is very complex. Our issues, there's a lot of nuances with issues that impact our industry.
Issues like water, workforce shortage, urbanization, and much more.
It takes more than just one conversation to kind of fully grasp an issue.
I tagged along on the committee's annual tour with local representatives who say they don't just want to learn about how to expand this industry, but how to protect it.
And meet the needs of a diverse range of interests and people across the county.
The tour gives local leaders a chance to see behind the curtain of one of Idaho's key industries, an industry Eliza Dugan has known all her life.
Growing up on my family's dairy farm, I thought it was normal to wake up every morning and feed animals and go and check in pivots and do all the things that to me were just normal, but I realized to a lot of people are out of the ordinary. And it's something we have to realize that in today's day and age, no matter how much AI and robots are now becoming more and more prevalent, these jobs and this industry is something that we cannot modernize.
Neighborhood of the day, East End, Boise, upper 80s, nice, warm, and sunny. And also, that's me and our photog, Lindsay, at our Love Your Neighborhood shoot. Coming up, you'll see where we're actually at 6:45.
Love Your Neighborhood, brought to you by ICCU.
This week's Love Your Neighborhood is one of the Treasure Valley's gems. We are here at the Idaho Botanical Garden to tell you about what's blooming this season.
The Idaho Botanical Garden was established 41 years ago. Since that time, we've been growing slowly, bit by bit. When we originally were founded by Christopher Davidson, we were founded with the intention to be a place where people can come and experience horticulture and understand what grows well here in our community. Over the last 41 years, we have expanded from a small garden space to now we offer 15 acres of developed gardens here at the Botanical Garden, and we have an additional 18 acres of undeveloped space, some of which is currently under development, so that we'll soon have 25 acres of developed space here at the Botanical Garden. We've continued to grow, and we've now become a place for educational programming for youth and for adults. We're a community gathering place for cultural arts activities, and then of course we're a beautiful space to come and experience every season of the year. The Botanical Garden is an oasis within an urban space here in the Treasure Valley. We are open and green space that is so incredibly important, not only for people's mental health, but their physical health and well-being. We really pride ourselves on offering an opportunity for people to get out into nature and to be able to come in and rest and relax and rejuvenate here, sometimes in the hustle and bustle of our state's biggest city. And above all, what we really are aiming to do is to connect our community with each other. Being that place where people can come, be in nature, and be together. That's our #1 goal here at the Idaho Botanical Garden.
There's already a lot blooming here at the Idaho Botanical Garden. And that's a wrap on this week's Love Your Neighborhood, located right here in East End, Boise. Sophia Cruz, Idaho News 6.
Sophia Cruz with the Idaho News 6 forecast.
All right, it's 6:47 on our Friday Junior, or just Thursday, whichever. It just means our weekend's right around the corner, and I hope you're having a good start to your morning. I'm showing you Twin Falls, where the sun is starting to come up. Now the camera's a little bit blurry, but it's just to show you the sun is slowly waking up as we do ourselves. But lower 50s if you are heading out here to start your day. You're gonna want to grab the light jacket no matter where you're waking up, especially because it's nice and chilly to start. You've got lower 50s from Boise down to Guns Ferry, 34 over in Stanley. Whenever I see a 30 in Stanley, it makes me think of winter and just how excited I am to see some snow back on our forecast. But we're a little ways away from that. Let's first get to fall. You've got mid to upper 80s along your valley floors, upper 70s as you head into your mountains this afternoon. And as we move through the next couple days, we are going to toast up. So it's quite warm up here. We have this upper level ridge bringing in this southwesterly flow. What that does for us is bring up that hotter air and also drier air. But we actually have some rain chances this weekend. Down to our south, that's where all the real heat is. So it's getting quite hot in Las Vegas this afternoon. I think they're hitting about 90, so pretty warm there. Closer to home, our weekend looks really nice and comfortable. You will notice clouds increasing through your Friday, and that's from that southwesterly flow bringing and increasing your clouds. But mid 80s into the afternoon, same story for Saturday, Sunday. We slowly see temperatures drop back down. Taking a look at the bigger picture, Tropical Storm Mario, which has made its way, looks like a little bit closer to California, it's dissipating now. So what happened is it's running to some strong wind shear and also just drier air, which almost cuts off all that fuel for that storm to form into a hurricane. So it is going to bring in some extensive rain. So they have a flood watch in place from Los Angeles down to San Diego. As far as what we can expect closer to home, as it starts to make its way up north, it is going to bring in some subtle rain chances towards our Saturday and our Sunday. I think it'll be pretty quiet weekend overall though. Here's what your rain chances look like through Saturday, just about a 10%. Move the page to Sunday. This grows a little heavier actually, between 10 to 20% between Fairfield, McCall, and down to Baker City. Notice that our northern areas are starting to see a little bit more rain chances too. But for us, and just taking a look at what happens, we start to see this slowly make its way up towards our north. It doesn't reach us necessarily by Friday, but by Saturday it does increase our moisture and also brings in all these clouds from eastern Oregon all the way over to our home. Notice that there are rain chances and that it continues through your Sunday, but it's more so a lingering rain by then. As far as our weekend overall, it's going to be quiet, and you'll notice that it'll be pretty comfortable. We see this trough move through by Sunday, and so that cools us down, but the heat returns into our Tuesday as this upper level ridge starts to rebuild over us. So that high pressure is going to come back into play just for a bit though, and it's going to warm us up into our Tuesday to about 85. Notice after that we do start to see lower 80s back on the board by Thursday, but overall our forecast is still pretty nice. So make sure you take advantage of it, spend some time outdoors. But speaking of going outdoors, let's get you into work and school.
The Idaho News 6 traffic report is brought to you by Champion Windows.
All right, it is 6:50 and we are giving you a live look of downtown where commuters are heading out. It's Thursday morning. Got a little bit more pep in our step because tomorrow's Friday. But either way, here's a look at I-84 at Garrity. Notice that in that eastbound lane, it is starting to pick up just a bit out there. Westbound lane still pretty sleepy. That underpass, though, also starting to pick up. So just giving you a little closer look. Garrity Boulevard still looking like a good commute, especially if you're heading on to I-84 eastbound. Overall, that's where we're seeing the most congestion this morning. I'll continue to keep you posted on our roads and our drive times as we head through our morning together.
In this morning's GMA First Look, the deepening mystery involving popular singer David. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner says a body found inside a Tesla registered in the singer's name has now been identified as a teenage girl who'd been missing for more than a year. Police made the grisly discovery last Monday, saying the Tesla had been abandoned in the Hollywood Hills.
It was banged up and kept moving from one place to other place within a couple of blocks from here.
Workers at this tow yard noticed an odor coming from the front trunk, which turned out to be decomposing remains.
Law enforcement doesn't have the answers they want in order to be able to confront or question David.
David is not charged in this case, but coming up at 7 a.m. we'll have much more on this urgent investigation. With your GMA First Look, I'm Trevor Alt, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Idaho News 6 Allergy Report is brought to you by Boise Valley Asthma and Allergy Clinic.
Okay, let's talk about our allergy count. Right now we have sage, quinopod, and ragweed, sage being the highest, so just a heads up, if that's your allergy, you're going to refrain from spending all your time outdoors, which is going to be pretty hard because it's nice and sunny as we head into the weekend. I'll have the rest of the details on your forecast ahead.
Well, we are just wrapping things up here on Good Morning Idaho. In case you missed it, here are some of the top stories we're following from our neighborhood reporters.
I'm senior reporter Don Nelson outside the Idaho State House. Earlier this year, Governor Brad Little signed HB 93 into law, the Parental Choice Tax Credit Bill. Well, opponents, the defenders of public education, call it nothing more than a voucher subsidy. Now they are taking their case to the Idaho State Supreme Court.
Two 16-year-old boys are now in custody after police say they brought guns to Ontario High School Wednesday morning. The Ontario School District received an anonymous tip saying a student was planning to come to school with a weapon. After searching the first student, it was discovered that another student also came to school with a weapon. Two handguns were discovered and both students were arrested.
Along Interstate 84, the Highway 16 interchange is taking shape at the border of Meridian and Nampa.
As Idaho News 6 has reported, the flyover lanes are a crucial part of the greater Highway 16 corridor project that's been years in the making. ITD tells me that the concrete beams that support the flyover lanes and bridges are drilled as deep as 150 feet into the ground.
And if all goes to plan, ITD will open these roads to the public in 2027.
And of course, you can always learn more about these stories on our website. Just head over to idahonews6.com.
Now, the Out the Door forecast, brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors.
All right, good Thursday morning to you, Idaho, as you get ready for your start of the day. You'll grab the light jacket, and especially if you head out before 9 a.m. We've got lower 60s all the way, though, until then. By the time we head into this afternoon and evening, you're not going to notice too much change from yesterday, but we'll be touching into the mid-80s. You'll want the sunglasses. It'll be a nice, warm day ahead. Speaking of heading outdoors, we've got to get you ready to head outside into work and school. Let's go take a look at your roads.
The Idaho News 6 traffic report is brought to you by Champion Windows.
6:57 is now your time, and we are giving you a live look of downtown, where commuters are starting to make their way out the door. They're ready to head into their Thursday, and if you're getting ready to head into it too, we're doing it together. Right now, you've got I-84 eastbound looking like the most slow up for us this morning, which no surprises there. As far as our drive times go, we have seen them really look pretty okay so far. You've got Chittenden Boulevard to US 20 eastbound just under 13 minutes. Also making your way from Caldwell into downtown, we're now sitting at 39 minutes. So this time is building pretty quickly, so just a heads up, if you are traveling from Caldwell into downtown, things are already starting to move out there. So just another Thursday, Isaiah. I-84 eastbound's always pretty busy, but the good news about today is that it's Thursday and today's my Friday. So.
Oh man, lucky you. I wish my Friday was certainly, but I got a little bit more time. Got to do some weekend weather, but hey, you know, that's what us weather people got to keep up with. So.
But the weather will also be nice. I'm going back home down south. I'm going to a UT game, so I'm really excited.
Oh wow, horns up? Is it this or is it horns down? Up. Oh, sorry. Is that's not the best symbol, is it? Horns down?
No, that's not the attitude we're bringing into our Thursday. Archie Manning's going to do great.
Yeah, good luck to him.